Hello, Australia, and a big thank you for listening to Mind Over Money, the podcast that helps you have finances that work. And hello, Archie. Tim.
Hey, Lachy. Hey, Archie.
G'day, Lachlan. G'day, Tim.
Well, today is a special day. It's the 1st of December, and we're wrapping up season 2 of the podcast. Woohoo!
Yes, so we're going to be talking about our best memories, best money lessons from this season and share some of our favourite conversations.
Maybe even pick a winner.
Who was the best podcaster?
Who was the best podcaster?
Right, of course.
Any comments, Archie, on this year?
Well, I was just running through my mind whether I'd pick Chelsea or Rolley or Matt for the award, best podcaster.
Yeah, we had some great guests this year on the show, which we'll mention in a bit. And everything we mentioned today will provide links in the show notes with all the episodes. And we just really encourage you guys this Christmas and holiday season to go back and catch up on some of these episodes that you might have missed throughout the year. And let us know on our Instagram post what episodes you enjoyed the most. So, Archie, we recorded 40 episodes this year. What were some of your favourite discussions? What's your top list?
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even realise we got through 40. So I'm probably picking all the ones towards the middle there. So episode 50, Time and Chance, episode 51, Investing Tips from Warren Buffett, and episode 64, Avoid or Engage.
Refresh our memory on episode 50, Time and Chance.
So Time and Chance, we had a picture there of Brisbane City in 1850 and the little shacks that people lived in. And the cemetery was right in the middle. That was the hub of the town at the time.
The dead centre of town.
Yeah, it really was the dead centre of town.
Everyone was dying to get in there.
Probably got washed away in the floods as well. Being Brisbane. Yeah. But yeah, just like every generation and every age group just encounters a different time and a different chance. So it is all about time and chance. So, those little shacks that they lived in, they were pretty happy with those back in 1850 because, kept them safe and kept them alive.
And it'd be worth a lot today.
Oh, yeah. Well, only the land, not the shack. I'm pretty sure the shack's gone. Yeah. But even if you look at like 1960 and then say, 1980 and then 1990, like we're all born in different periods. And in those different periods, there's different opportunities and different challenges. Yeah, everyone has a different challenge, different problems, but also opportunities. And so we're just encouraging people through that podcast to really see what they've got right now, like where they are right now in Australia, how good it is, and what opportunities are actually in front of them. And, that gives them some momentum to push through the problems and move forward, especially in finances.
So that was episode 50, Time and Chance. Go back and listen to that one. Investing Tips from Warren Buffett. You mentioned episode 51. Yeah, that was a great one.
The thing I remember from that episode was that there's so much been written about Warren and all this guru things about, if you do this, if you do that. And Warren always says, it's just time, just keep investing and give it time, like to let time do the work. And so it's, that was the classic out of that was, just how, what is there, over 2,000 books been written or something about his investing stuff?
Thereabout,
and all you need is one sentence, just give it time. Keep investing and give it time. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay. Episode 64, Avoid or Engage. Yeah, look, we are classics at avoiding, and we're, I think, I'm not sure it was in this one, but another podcast where we're wired to see problems. We're wired to see negativity, which is why clickbait works so well. and because we got that wiring there. And so the thing is, we're gonna hit pain. You know, pain is a normal part of life, and we can either try and avoid pain, or we can engage with the pain. And when it comes to finances, it's much better if you engage with the pain and take responsibility for your finances and get in and start doing something. And, you know, and yes, there will be failures. There will be stuff happen. That's called life. So, but, you know, that's the good part about having someone like Waymaker or Waymaker program, is that we can help keep you going through that pain.
Yeah.
And get you to the other side, because, you know, there's always joy on the other side when you get through pain.
I love that. Wow. Okay, that's Archie's top list. Hard to top that, I think. Tim, what's your top list? Your top three? Well, you've written down 4 here. You cheater.
I'll do 3. I'll cut one. I was just in case there's any double up. Yeah, I'll start with episode 32, I think. This was the first time you let me on the podcast, which thank you. Appreciate it. And surprised. But I think it was titled How to Love Your Finances and Your Life. And then today, I think you did that all caps, Lachy. And I think it was just such an important topic. It's like, really, it was about not comparing like your financial situation. And I think, that's probably the number one killer of our financial happiness, so to speak, is sitting around looking at your neighbor, looking at everyone else. And the reality is, we live in Australia and you are in the top percentile of the world. And yet we can still feel pretty unhappy. And I think just having that perspective on our finances and constantly going back to that perspective is so important, because we were very lucky people to be here, to be born where we were, or to have immigrated. 1 in 3 Australians immigrated here, so myself included. So there's a good representation of this podcast. Of the statistic, but we're lucky to be here. So
hang on, Tim. Just because we were born here, we were still imported, mate. We were just imported a little while ago. That's all.
A little further back. That's true. No, our imports keep us going. So, I think that was just a really important podcast for me, and just really helpful to talk through. And then I just put down episode 48, which is rest. Coming into Christmas. I hope everyone's ready for some rest, even though it's maybe the manic season right now. But I think what I love about Mind Over Money and the way you guys talk about finances is because it's often outside the box to what we think we should be thinking about. And we can get so stuck in the way that we think about certain things. There's so much power in changing the way that we think about finances, and rest is one of those counterintuitive things where you prioritize rest. You actually get more out of life and out of your finances. And I just love that whole thinking. It's really counterintuitive, but there's often the answer is not where you expect it. And I think you guys have done a really good job over the course of all these episodes. I don't know what the total is, but this year, 40. Tackling some other unseen issues. So that's another one. I thought the last one I put was on episode 60 on cash flow, and just such a foundation to a lot of what we do here at Waymaker. And it comes back to that comparison. I think we can so often compare what we should have and what we think we should have, but rather than what we actually have, and like what we actually, and working with what we've got. And I think creating a plan is such an amazing stress reducer. After working with lots of different personalities this year, not everyone loves putting a budget in place. But at the end of the day, like some people love spreadsheets, some people don't. But at the end of the day, we all have to understand our finances, and that's a poor excuse to be stressed or to not have control. And I think we've met people with large and small incomes that are both equally stressed, and the amazing power of having a cash flow system in place, I found, is that it just relieves so much stress. And and I know that because I've felt that in my life of not having that. And so it comes back just to our thinking, and what you said, Archie, that episode about avoid or engage, so important. Are we going to engage with our finances? That this is a big part of it, combing through our situation, short term, bit of short term stress for long-term relaxation and confidence. So yeah, those are probably my top three.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's up to me.
Yeah. How about you, Lockie?
My top list, I've got 3 here. So the first one is episode 54. This was a bit of a PSA, a public service announcement that we did, I think it was back in July, on fear and how it affects our spending and investing. So Archie, I think you really nailed it on how these big changes in the economy that we've seen this year and that fear of loss has been driving our spending habits. So we talked about the fight or flight response and how to overcome that and really just stick to what we value. If I had to pick one of the 3, I think this next one, episode 52, was a really good one. I'm glad we had this conversation. It was about financial community. And I love this episode because I've had this conversation with my friends over the years and I feel like I was repeating myself. So I'm really glad we had this public conversation. Now I could just send people that episode. This is something in my life over the last 8 years of working with professionals around finance, is building that community of experts, really puts you ahead in life. And I think Australians, we have this kind of DIY mentality when it comes to our money. Like, oh, I can do it. You know, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And honestly, I've seen people throw away thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. And I'm just convinced that this is a problem that people don't even know about, that we have as a nation, that trying to do everything ourselves is not getting us as far as we should be going. And it's also creating a lot of stress. And so I just see a lot of unnecessary frustration in relationships and in finances. And I just want to really grab people and say, you need a community. So we talked about this in this episode. We talked about having a community of experts, which involves a lot of different people, from mortgage brokers to planners to accountants to buyers advocates. And that leads to a life that's more relaxed, more confident. We have more clarity. We're less stressed. And really just improves not just our finances, but our relationships and our approach to life. So that was a great episode, episode 52, talking about financial community.
Mate, I was just going to say, I was thinking of my hairdresser actually, and how great my hairdresser is. When she wasn't available there a while back, I had to go find someone else to cut my hair. And I went to several places. All of them professed to be professionals, but boy, they did such a bad job. One haircut took 2 months to recover from. It's like, and normally you say a bad haircut, you know, you can recover in 2 weeks. But it's the same with our finances. When we get bad advice or no advice, you know, the cost is quite high. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So true. My last episode of my top 3 was actually episode 56. And Archie, this is while you were in Taipei. We did a fireside chat, just Tim and myself. And I really liked this conversation. It was different to our usual discussions. It's just a bit slowed down. And Tim just really opened up and shared his journey of moving back to Australia, which I think would resonate with a lot of other people who have moved back from other countries and kind of hitting that reset button. It can feel like you're starting from scratch again. If you've been, like, most of your life being overseas, now you've got to come back to Australia and learn the system from scratch, and just, you know, buying things and furniture and you know, setting up your new super and all that stuff. So it was a great conversation. I think that really inspired a lot of people. But also we talked a lot about just living below your means and really that narrow path to a great life. So I think that was a great chat. So should we do a tally and maybe... What do you think our top episode was, guys? What do you reckon? If we all pick one, I reckon out of my list, it's going to be, I think, episode 52. Tim, what about your list? Pick one winner.
Well, I'm going to pick one not on my list.
Okay.
And pick episode 64, the avoid or engage one. The one that Archie mentioned, I think.
Archie,
really
what
helpful.
do you think?
Mine's the same. Mine's episode 64 as well.
All right. Well,
Podcast of the Year award.
There's two votes, and there's only 3 of us. So I think episode 64 is the winner. Avoid or engage. This is the episode you all have to go back and listen to. We'll put a link in the show notes and a link to all the other episodes that we've done this year. Also this year, we had some great guests on the show. So we want to give a quick shout out to, first of all, Troy Rolley, episode 41. He talked about saving money on electricity, and he talked about solar panels and the future of EV charging and smart home batteries. That was an interesting chat. So we'll get him to come back next year again, because he's actually been doing
Right.
a lot in that space in the last 6 months. So he's got some new things to share.
Yep.
Episode 59, we had Kerry on the podcast, and she talked about your credit score, importance of that, but also how to fix up your credit score if you've had issues with that. And yeah, she also talked about domestic violence at the end. It was a great conversation. So thank you, Kerry.
Mm.
Tembo has come on again. So he actually did 2 episodes with us, episodes 57 and episodes 58. He talked about buying an investment property and other tips for just buying property in general, what to look out for there. There were some great episodes. We had great feedback on those. So thanks, Tembo.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt Tembo. And then lastly, we had Chelsea. She was a hit. Episode 69. She talked about food, how to cook $10 meals for the family, how to get variety in there. That was a great discussion, and we've got links to her Facebook group where you can go join that.
She has a recipe book coming out too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she's got a major publisher. I've seen some of the parts of the book. It looks amazing, and so that's coming out in March. So we'll have Chelsea back in, I think, late February.
You can see why it was a popular episode. It's about food.
Yeah.
and we Aussies love food. So, but I love how she's got such a great selection of recipes, and they're really simple and easy. Like, I was looking at them quickly on her Facebook, and I was looking at the pictures going, I could cook that. And, because I won the award in my family for the worst dad ever for cooking. It's like my boys kicked me out of the kitchen.
A great award.
From about 5 on. So so having something really simple and easy to follow. I really struggle with Jamie's recipes. They're too complex. Yeah, too complex. So Chelsea's wins my award. Yeah.
What I like about Chelsea's recipes is she posts a photo of the products on the table that she buys from Coles and Woolies. So you can just look at the photo and see the exact products. Whereas when you read cooking books, especially when they're from the UK and overseas, you've got to really go find those products and go hunting for them because they're not localized. So yeah, that was a great episode. Well, as we wrap up the year, Archie, is there anything that you want to encourage our community to stick with this Christmas? Thinking about entering the new year, 2024.
I think we nailed it earlier when we said rest. Tim brought up about rest. It's so important to take this time over Christmas to rest and relax, and a lot of good stuff's going to come out of that in around our finances and our families and our situations. So, we definitely want people to engage, but sometimes you got to rest to be able to engage. So, I'd encourage people to have a good rest.
Love that. Well, that's it for season 2 of the podcast, guys. Season 3 will return in early February. And in the meanwhile, we've got a couple of encore episodes lined up over the next couple of weeks. Plus, in late January, you'll see a bonus episode drop where we're going to talk a little behind the scenes of what's happening with Waymaker and the podcast in 2024. We're gearing up for a big year, so there's lots of good changes coming. And to all our Waymaker members, a big thank you and Merry Christmas. We're so proud of all that you've achieved this year, whether it's just a little step that you took or a big leap that you've taken. We're so grateful to be on the journey with you and helping you have finances that work. And if you want to be a member of the Waymaker program, you can register your interest for our first 2024 intake, which starts in late January. We'll be opening the doors again then. So if you've got a New Year's resolution to buy a home or start investing or even just sort out your cash flow, don't just think about it. Join Waymaker and actually do it. Get the results that you've been wanting all year. So you can make 2024 your best year ever by visiting waymakerfinance.com.au/membership and join that waitlist. It's free to join the waitlist, and we'll send you a message in January to get started. All right. Well, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Archie.
Thanks.
Yeah. Mate, I got to say, it's been a pleasure having Tim on with us.
So good. Best edition.
Yeah. Love your questions, Tim. Love the way you process things and help us work things through. It's great. So Merry Christmas, Tim. Merry Christmas, Lachy.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening to Mind Over Money. And remember that this podcast is education purposes only. You should always see a professional to get financial advice. And before we go, we'd love your feedback and rating of the show. You can rate or review us wherever you're listening to this episode, and you can send us a message using the link in the show notes. Thank you again for your support.